Hi, Carlos. My thoughts are on the community today. Did you know that in the old days they referred to this type of building as an apartment complex? Now they call them communities, and each community is an island unto itself. It is sad, isn't it? Changing the subject, he looked at his friend and said, "You know, I should have worn my mud boots today, too."
The dust is thick in the street today. The street cleaners will have much to do today. Ben, I remember the house where I grew up. It was not far from here. I guess they tore it down to make way for a community. There is one that stands in place of all the houses that used to be on that street.
You think there are any houses left in the lower towns, Carlos?
I haven't seen any, Ben. Each month since I was a boy, I have taken a different way home from church. Except, of course, for all the years I spent in the military.
You never talked about those days, Carlos.
No, I guess I tried to block them out of my mind, Ben. I was young when the world changed. The new laws said I must go into the military. You know how it is. When I got out at 28, they gave me a job and a wife for my service to the country. I guess getting injured helped. I didn't need to remain in the army those last 2 years. I might not be here now if I had. What with all the wars?
I never served, Carlos. I was 30 when that became law. I could hardly believe they would put a 15-year-old in the army, though.
The law I consider the worst is the one that will take my oldest boy away on his 7th birthday. He will go into apprenticeship until he is 15, and then into the army. I will be lucky if I ever see him again. If I see him, will he even remember me, I wonder?
Carlos, so I can only imagine your pain.
Ben, I know they will brainwash him. He will not even remember the things his mother and I taught him. He will think of woman as a beast for breeding children. It is what they teach the young ones now.
Carlos, I think women and girls have it worse, don't you?
Yes, Ben. I think about my daughters and what will happen to them when they reach their majority. When you treat a woman like a beast, it breaks their spirit. The kind of man will do this only sees the beauty of their youth and the work they can get out of them.
I know what you mean, Carlos. I wonder the same thing about my daughter. How will I keep her safe from someone like my neighbor, Yusuf? He is a man who would use a woman until she dies, her body worn from childbirth and overwork. She will be 16 in a few weeks. I'm so afraid, Carlos.
My friend, maybe the prophecy will happen, and it will protect her. If it doesn't, I do not know how any of us in the lower towns can protect our children. Even the servants who work for the rich in the upper town must follow the laws. Their children are subject to the same rules.
You are right, my friend. The servants may be treated a bit better, being one step above us in the hierarchy. The rich do not consider their servants to be people either. Only the rich and those who own the corporations.
As the paths to the factory became
the rest of us
crowded,
have become
Ben and Carlos
less
walked
than
on
human.
silently.
I think it is
They
a
had
black
stopped
time
talking.
for our country.
Many found them an odd pair. Carlos, thin, Hispanic, barely over 5 feet tall, and Ben, even though advanced in years, still had the build of a ball player. Ben was an immense man, dark-skinned, tall, and broad shoulders. Quietly they walked side by side. Now and then they glanced around at their world. Gone were the trees that used to line the streets. No squirrels or birds could be seen anywhere in the lower communities. There was only dust, black soot, and occasionally one could see blue peek through the clouds of smoke and smut that filled the sky. To Ben, this world seemed dead. Nothing remained of beauty in the lower towns for the youth to see what the world could be. Gone was the music that filled the streets and the flowers that grew in window boxes. Only in the morning, at the end of the workday, did life stir on the streets in the lower towns. Ben and Jewel lived in one of the poor communities. Theirs was a mixed community, because most of the folks who lived in it were of mixed races. Carlos and his family huddled in a 2-room apartment in one of the Hispanic communities. He had heard that the conditions of the all-white communities were a bit better, but not by much. The men from different communities rarely became friends. Sometimes during the few minutes of break time allotted at work, the lines between the communities broke, and men talked to each other.